Yes, guys, I'll get you back to that video right now, but I just wanted to check if you haven't joined the Cardiff City World squad on Squad Bets yet. Now is the perfect time to do it. The World Cup is here, and there are brand new World Cup games live right now, including the very popular Fixture Predictor Challenge. Plus, the all new championship season is just around the corner, and we'll very soon be able to have a whole range of EFL championship games available too. Remember, Squad Bets is not a bookies. There's no house taking a cut. Instead, all of the entry money goes into the cash pot and the winners take home the prizes. It's football knowledge, community competition, and a bit of fun rolled into one. Download the app today, join our squad using the code Cardiff City 1, and let's see who really knows their football. Big thanks to Squad Bets for supporting Cardiff City World and Ace Nation Media, and I'll see you in the games. Nice one. Germany scored 7. Sweden scored 5. Japan did their thing again, where they absolutely refuse to lose football matches. A Manchester United winger who spent months watching football with his ankles strapped on the sofa came off the bench to score a 90th minute World Cup winner. Ladies and gentlemen, day 4 was absolutely superb. It was a goal fest. So let's get into it right and now. And 4 days down, and I think we're starting to learn a little bit about this World Cup. Not the old guard, not the household names, not the legends trying to squeeze one final tournament out of their careers, at least not yet. No. This tournament is starting to belong to the next generation. Every day, another young star is stepping forward and claiming the spotlight. Every day, another player announces themselves to the world, and day 4 might have been the biggest example so far. We've got Germany putting 7 past Curacao. Japan reminding everybody that they are one of the most annoying teams on the planet to play against. Sweden quietly sticking 5 past Tunisia. And one of the stories of the tournament so far is involving Amad Diallo. So let's start in Houston, because a certain Bayern Munich superstar looks very, very close to being back to his absolute best. Number 1, Musiala is back. So let's talk about that. Germany just got a whole lot scarier. And I think this is worth talking about. Get it out of the way immediately. Yes, Germany won 7-1. Yes, Kai Havertz scored twice. Yes, Florian Wirtz was very, very good. But Germany suddenly look a terrifying proposition for people again. This was a game about one man though, and that was Jamal Musiala. Because if you followed his story over the last year or so, or even his career as a whole, you'll understand why Sunday felt quite significant. This wasn't just another goal. This wasn't just another appearance. This was confirmation that one of football's most gifted young footballers is very close to being back to his best. Like fully back. Remember what happened? He had a broken fibula, dislocated ankle, months on the sideline, multiple setbacks, questions about fitness and about sharpness, questions about whether he'd even be ready for this World Cup. They were genuine concerns. And when you're talking about a player whose game relies on balance and acceleration and close control and explosive changes of direction, an ankle injury is not the injury you want. Potentially a career-changing injury at that. So to see Musiala floating around the pitch in between players in Houston and looking like, well, Jamal Musiala again, that was massive for me. He's a beautiful footballer to watch. Every time he received the ball, you could see the defenders were panicking. He was drifting between the lines. He was turning away from pressure. turning away from pressure and drawing defenders out of shape, creating those overloads, making Germany tick, pulling the strings, and eventually he got his reward. It was a brilliant run into the box, a lovely ball from Kimmich, and a great finish from Musiala. That made it 4-1 to Germany. It killed the game straight after the break, and the worrying moment came probably shortly after that when he left the pitch holding his thigh slightly, but immediately social media exploded. Social media and German fans having flashbacks, but thankfully Julian Nagelsmann quickly shut that down, said it was precautionary, nothing too serious, no major concerns, and honestly, Germany would have been mad not to look after him, not to protect him, because if Musiala and Wirtz are firing and they hit top gear simultaneously, teams will struggle to stop them. There's potentially no better creative partnership in this tournament than that pair. Now for the match itself, Curacao, look, they actually gave us one of the big moments of the World Cup so far. Germany started real fast. Nimicha scored first. Everybody expected a routine afternoon, but Curacao just wouldn't go away. They hit him on the counter, and Comencia, what a great finish. 1-1 and a few glorious minutes, and the nation of only 150,000 odd people will level with Germany at a World Cup match. Football can be a wonderful thing sometimes. It creates wonderful moments and storylines. Unfortunately for Curacao, Germany remembered that they were Germany, and Schlotterbeck scored, Havertz scored, Musiala scored, Nathaniel Brown scored, Dennis Undav scored, and then Havertz added the icing on the cake, a delightful finish to make it 7-1. Clinical, professional, and perhaps most importantly, Germany looked like genuine contenders. Very, very impressive. Number 2, Ahmad's World Cup moment, and this was a big one, I think. 90th minute, game over, and I want to talk about this. It's probably my favourite story of the day. Football is brilliant at producing these moments that feel scripted, but this was one of those. It was one of those that felt like scripted. Amad Diallo, in the 90th minute in the World Cup, gets the winner. You couldn't write it better, actually. You probably could, but not by much. So let's rewind a little bit, because I think context matters. Manchester United have had a difficult couple of years. Under Ruben Amorim, Ahmad was one of the few shining lights the previous season. But last season, he had a chaotic season. He was brilliant at the start, and then he really struggled as the season went on. He had a few little injury setbacks, managerial change, obviously. There was questions about what's his preferred role, questions maybe even about his future. But that season was not the consistency that we had seen the previous season. And then he had an ankle injury, which was a bit of a nasty one, and was out for a bit. So arriving at this World Cup was big for him to show the consistency that he had previously reached. And honestly, I think what surprised a few people was, look, arguably Ivory Coast's most dangerous attacking player is Ahmad, and they didn't know if he was going to be fit. Now for 89 minutes it looked like the game was going to just finish 0-0, a routine World Cup group stage draw. Ecuador hit the crossbar, then they hit it again, and then again. Ivory Coast hit the bar, and you're thinking this has just got 0-0 made, rolled all over it. But Enner Valencia somehow missed from close range, and as I say, you just think no one's going to score. But it was one of those matches where both teams are trying so desperately to score a goal, but somehow refusing to do it. And then came the moment. Wilfred Singo drives down the right. He pulled the ball back, and there he is, Ahmad. Exactly where great attacking players should be, and he was calm, he was composed, one touch finish, beautiful. Bottom corner, game over, absolute pandemonium. Ivory Coast win. Ecuador's 19-game unbeaten run up in smoke, and Ahmad has his World Cup moment. What I love most is the celebration. Just the pure emotion of it. No rehearsed nonsense, no gimmicks, just pure, unbridled joy. This was the joy of a footballer who's worked incredibly hard to get his fitness and form back on the pitch. And now he's got his World Cup winner, and he'll be attached to his name forever. Don't be surprised if this becomes the moment that kickstarts his tournament, because I believe all he needed was a little bit of confidence. Number 3, Japan never go away. I tipped them as dark horses before the tournament, and they've done it again. At some point, we need to stop being surprised by Japan. Now, honestly, we genuinely need to stop being surprised by it. Every major tournament now follows the exact same pattern. People underestimate Japan. Japan frustrates somebody. Japan shocks somebody. Everybody acts surprised. Well, not me, because I said they were a good side. Then we repeat that cycle, and the Sunday was the latest example. Holland scored twice, led twice, and still couldn't beat Japan. Van Dijk scores first, Japan respond. Somerville scores a beautiful goal, Japan respond again. And the equaliser was classic Japan. Late corner, bodies forward, chaos in the box, Kamada gets a touch, goal, cue celebrations. And another reminder, this team is so mentally strong, and it's much more stronger than I think people realise. Now, let's not forget, this is a nation that came from behind to beat Germany and Spain at the last World Cup. They don't panic, they don't lose their shape, they do not stop believing, and that makes them incredibly dangerous. The Dutch are going to be frustrated for sure. I thought Gravenberch was absolutely magnificent. Van Dijk looked dominant, although I do wonder whether he might struggle against some pacey, sort of higher quality strikers later in the tournament. But on his day, yeah, he looked real good. Somerville scored an absolutely wonderful goal. And on another day, the Dutch probably win comfortably. But Japan are just experts at hanging around. They stay in games, they absorb pressure, they wait for the opportunities, and then when you think you've got them beat, they hit you, and they hit you again. Suddenly, Group F looks absolutely fascinating. Sweden on top, Japan unbeaten, Netherlands frustrated, everything still to play for. Number 4, Sweden make a statement. Number 5, 5 goals, top of the group. Now let's talk about this result that I don't think anyone probably is discussing, because for whatever reason, Germany and Japan and Ahmad, and they kind of taken the limelight. But Sweden, 5 goals, Tunisia 1, and honestly, it could have been more. Sweden were excellent, if not spectacular. I didn't think they were particularly flashy, but they were relentlessly efficient, and that sometimes is even more dangerous. 5 goals, 5 different stories. Alexander Isaak scored, Gyökeres scored, Svanberg scores, Ayari scored twice. The Brighton midfielder effectively bookmarking the game with goals. But what I really liked about Sweden is their balance. Everybody's talking about Isaak, everybody's talking about Gyökeres, and understandably they're both quality strikers, but this team is not like a one-man team or even a two-man team. They've got goals everywhere, energy everywhere, athleticism everywhere, and that's exactly what you need in tournament football, because eventually the injuries are going to happen, suspensions and fatigue in this heat is going to happen. So what you need then is what we talked about already, is depth. Sweden have it. They're not among the favourites. They're not even maybe among many people's dark horses. But if they continue to play and play like this, people are going to start paying attention real quick. The next game they play is against the Netherlands. That is going to be massive, because it could send one of these teams out if it gets a bit one-sided. So that's going to be interesting. Number 5, I alluded to it at the start. The kids are taking over. This is the trend of the day. We've been talking about a different trend each day. Now here we are. It's day 4, and it's really stood out for me. The World Cup belongs to a next generation. Look at the names: Musiala, Wirtz, Ahmad, Somerville, Ayari, Ari Nakunde yesterday. Young players everywhere, not just participating, but leading, influencing, deciding games. That's important, because every World Cup eventually becomes a changing of the guard moment. Italia 90 gave us one, France 98 gave us one, Germany 2006 gave us one. This tournament feels like another, and I didn't even mention Buhari from, I forgot his name, Buhari from Morocco. Apologies, I'm trying to do that from memory and I can't remember. But he was quality, he's only 18. The established stars are here. Look, Messi's here, Ronaldo's here, Mbappe's here, Vinicius Junior's here, Bruno is here. They're all here. But increasingly, the conversation's moving towards the next wave of stars. And what excites me the most is they're delivering under pressure. World Cups aren't normal football matches. They are absolute pressure cookers. Millions watching, entire nations literally hanging on every ball. Every mistake is magnified. Yet these young players look completely comfortable, completely at home. Musiala look comfortable. Ahmad look comfortable. Somerville look comfortable. Ayari look comfortable. And if this trend continues, the knockout rounds are going to be absolutely ridiculous, because the quality ceiling of this generation is quite frightening. So, there we have it. Day 4 of the 2026 World Cup is in the books. Germany scored 7. They look like genuine contenders. Amad Diallo scored one of the moments of the tournament so far. Japan reminded us why nobody enjoys playing against them. And Sweden quietly announced themselves as a team with a lot of goals. The next generation continues to take centre stage. 4 days in, and honestly, this tournament is already shaping up nicely. Day 5 brings us Spain, Uruguay, Belgium, Saudi Arabia, Iran and Cape Verde. Now there's plenty of stories there. I'm really looking forward to talking about them with you tomorrow. If you haven't already, make sure you've subscribed. World Cup videos on the daily. Let me know in the comments, what would you like to see? Who do you want to talk about? Who's impressed you the most? Who is underwhelmed? Let's get into it. Remember though, when you drop a comment, don't just say yes, no, play a name. Give me context. Let's have a genuine story and conversation about what's going on at the World Cup. Anyway, thank you so much. Take it easy. Keep the faith, and I'll see you tomorrow.
This channel is powered by an incredible membership community on Cardiff City World and patreon.com/AcePodcastNation. Becoming a member unlocks exclusive rewards, from early access to live event tickets, bonus content, and even the occasional inside transfer scoop when we get it. But more importantly, it allows us to bring you top quality Cardiff City content 7 days a week. Across those 7 days, we're talking match previews, exclusive interviews, instant match reactions, the breakdown podcast, tactical deep dives, the Spotlight series, Bluebirds Rewind, Academy Focus, and just so much more. Led by myself, backed by an army of passionate Cardiff City fans, this is content created by fans for fans. Balanced, professional, and 100% all about the club we all love. If you enjoy what we do, then join the community today and support what we are doing as we help to keep Cardiff City World flying high.